Hey everybody, Soul Folks here. Wanted to do the question and answer for this week like I do on every Friday. And I wanted to talk a little bit this week before I get to some of your questions about the recent patch that's coming down the pipe. I went ahead and made a video on that, so you can go ahead and watch that. A lot of people have asked me, when are they going to do Awakenings for the hero I want? And the answer to that is nobody knows. They had a list of heroes that were supposedly getting their Awakenings. They haven't gotten them. Pearl was supposedly getting one. That's not there. So nobody knows for sure when they're going to come. But when they do come, it's really kind of at the mercy of however they release whatever they release. That's a good way of saying, we take it as for what we get. I'm glad they're doing some of the heroes that we've enjoyed. I think Alma's great getting one. I think Media's great getting one. I think Poulon getting one was really kind of nice. And so, in time, I believe we'll eventually see a Chavez Awakening. What's that going to do? I don't know, but he's strong as he is. That could really throw him over the top. Obviously, they don't want that too much. So it's going to be, it's got to be game balance. Jolie came back into actual gameplay use after her Awakening. Before that, she wasn't any good, and now she can actually do a lot of damage on certain teams real quick. So just know that there are Awakenings coming for your hero. I don't know when, but we'll just kind of go from there. So some of the questions people ask me is, are legends worth taking? Awakening as soon as you get to orange. Basically, do you awaken a legendary first? Do you awaken a normal person first? How does that work? My real answer is this. When I get to the point of Awakenings, I usually pursue the person that's going to best suit my team. Now, for me, my team was originally Zoe, Vortex, Noelle and Snow, Monk Sun, and then that other person kind of fluctuated between Pagani or between Gears or someone else. The way you do it, I usually like to get my tank first and then my main DPS, because if my tank dies, I'm out of luck. So I usually do my main tank and then I do my DPS. That kind of means you're going to have to figure out who your main tank's going to be. Don't move them around too much. It's costly. People ask me, why is Chavez, let me pull him up here, why Chavez level 87? Because it takes time and money, and I've only got so many experience potions. Why haven't I done Sizo? Why have I not done Sizo? If I wanted to pray Sizo up to get him 4 dots, I'm going to spend 20 to 40,000 gems, and that's not where I want to invest it right now. For the channel, I make choices on how I spend my gems and how I might build my teams, because I'm limited in kind of the amount of stuff that I can do. So for Awakenings, it usually kind of varies. Currently I'm working on Muse. Oh, that's the wrong person. I didn't want to click on that. I'm working on Muse. She only got good now that she got an Awakening, so now I would have preferred her earlier, but it is where it's at. So that's kind of how that works. Somebody said, Chili Red said, can you untangle the Jumbo Mumbo on DPS, AoE, AD, Critical Strike? And you're going to have a hard time finding this on Wiki, because it's not really a Wiki thing. It's kind of terminology we use from a multitude of games that have been played over the years. So let me give a little bit of insight. So DPS is the idea of damage per second. So when I look at certain heroes like Zoe versus certain heroes like Haley versus a hero, and I'm going to pull a great one here, Gorgana, the damage per second is varied based on certain things. Vortex drops a lot of damage real quick, and he'll maintain that over the consistency of the fight. Gorgana builds up her damage, and the longer the fight goes, the greater her damage per second becomes, but she's a slow roller. When you look at people like Marksman, Zoe does a lot of AoE, so she gets a lot of good damage. She has some other functionality, so her DPS is pretty good, but when you compare her to Lucifer, if Lucifer gets going, his DPS gets off the chart. Mira's really good as long as you're not facing certain teams that basically negate her completely. So it's looking at the damage per second. You're going to find teams that are built upon a quick burst of damage, and so all their damage is right up front. It's this huge number, and then all of a sudden they either live or die. They either kill everybody or they die because they're glass cannons. And so, you know, that's where you see in this marksman, I think West is it, yeah, inside this Wings of Origin teams, you know, if they get off all their crits, they're going to destroy your team, and that's it. But if they don't and you survive through that, you usually can kill them and win. So that's kind of what that is, damage per second. The idea of AoE is area of effect. We talk about AoE. Vortex is an AoE person. Haley has AoE capabilities. Teresa's ultimate is an AoE. Noelle and Snow, as they spin through it, it hits a large group. It's not just one person. So people that only hit one person would be like Pagani's ultimate only hits one person, but the sleep effect is an AoE. Edwin's ultimate hits multiple people. It's an area of effect, where Lilith only hits, you know, that she hits everybody on everything. Media is a single target person, does great damage. Emily has a single person stun. She has an AoE early attack that's kind of short range, and then has her ultimate, which again is an AoE. So you're going to find your marksmen are often the single target damage versus AoE people. Gears is moving to a cannoneer, and so they're giving his attacks a splash AoE, area of effect damage. And so that's kind of what we're talking about. West has on his skills Scattershot. This has a small AoE kind of thing to it. So that's what the difference is, AoE. AD is for attack damage, and instead of or you know, ability power. So when we look at a hero, I'm going to pull up Mira here and we go to this. Their attack damage, they are what we call an AD hero. They are not a magic based hero, they are a physical based hero. So what's important for them is their attack damage, versus a mage, which is an AP or an ability power attack damage. So all their stuff is based off of their ability power. So that's what that stands for. The critical strike level, we wish it was a percentage, but it's not a percentage. It's an actual number, and that's all kind of gets thrown together and takes place differently. But basically, the higher the critical strike level is, it's like a percentage. So perhaps right now I'm critting 15 to 20% of the time, which might not seem like a lot, but it can be. So that's what that kind of stands for when we talk about critical strike. Both your magic users and your attack damage users have that ability. One of the other questions somebody said is, you know, can Poulon be used as a solo tank? You know, and the answer to that is, you know, after his awakening, the answer to that is yes. Yes, he can. Now they are going to fix when he uses his ultimate, which will help him out even better. He's a great physical tank, and one of the things that he does best is he clumps up all of the other team in the back row. So when he rushes into a fight, and I'm just going to go here real quick. We'll go to Alliance Duel. And boop-a-doop-a-doop. I'm going to pick somebody. It doesn't really matter who. We'll do that. We're going to duel him. Do-do-do-do-do. Let's change this. We'll go tank. We'll take Poulon. I'm going to choose one marksman. Alright, there we go. Yes, I can select more. So what's going to happen is you're going to watch this. He's going to run up super fast. He's great against dodge teams. But if you're running an AoE team, an area of effect team, something like that, he's awesome because you cut down some of the field, especially if you have a, and I'm going to pull it out here. It's bad. I'm going to win this. He's going to get mad at me. He's like, why are you picking on me? I'm not. All right, there we go. Let's do this. Let's put a Sebastian in there. Move him faster. Dual support Sebastian. Yes, I can select more heroes. Alright, here we go. So watch what happens. He's going to pin him. They pin him back, further back. So that clumps him up a little bit more. It may not seem like a lot, but on some AoEs, that's actually a huge percentage of getting the ability to hit them. It puts people like Chavez in a better spot to hit multiple people with his area of effect. As far as a Wings of Origin video, I'm hoping to get to that pretty soon. I'm not there just yet, but as soon as I can, I will definitely get one of those for you. As far as some of the other questions, so back to some of the questions. Does the silent affect the ultimates or the skills too? And what's the difference between a silence and a blind? So when Blaine silences, for example, it makes it where you cannot use your ultimates or cast certain skills. So an ultimate would be like if I'm on Alma, let's pop to Alma. Get over here, hero mage. Alma. So Alma's pop-up is the ultimate. I can't use this. I can't cast the Ghost Whirlwind. I can't cast the Ghost Strike. So during that silence, I can't do any of these things, which of course limits my ability to do damage. Now, once the silence is over, I can cast all those things again. So, you know, there's some great use. It affects the same way with your AD people. Talk about a marksman. Jolie's not going to be able to do her ball barrage. She's not going to be able to do her combo shot, which is all going to impact the damage. Now, what blind does is you can still use your skills, but you're not going to hit as often. So when you get blinded, some people don't hit at all. Some people do. So I'm going to take support. Let's go to Aria. Skills. And I haven't done any of this in a while, have I? I'm sorry. It's like I don't care. So this heavy fog. This hit rate, blind basically increases. It lowers their attack damage, and it also decreases their ability for them to hit. So a lot of times they don't hit at all. I haven't really seen too many people that have been blinded hit. Area effects still do hit, but a lot of the single target stuff doesn't. So you cast blind on Mira, and suddenly she's missing that ultimate she just cast. So it's kind of a useful skill, especially against single target damage people. Not so much against people like Vortex or others that are casting spells that are actually area effect. So, you know, there you go. How should I build my tank Leon? Now, Leon, however you want to call him, is a great tank. I don't have him raised up on this account. Let's see, what is this going to take? I got plenty of those. So we'll put him purple. So his skills are all great skills. His battle roars, blood spirit, hero time, all these things are great. If I'm gonna build him, as far as before I get to obviously orange one, I'm probably gonna run on him. I'm probably gonna run fish chainmail. If I'm not gonna be facing an AD team, a physical team, I'm gonna face a magic team. I'm probably gonna change that to a dragon whistle, which just gives me a shield as well as some health. Those would probably be my two main ones. As far as going into the beast soul components, you know, you're going to want him to be tanky. So again, I'm on the wrong thing here. I got to spend my points on that, and I haven't. As far as skill sets, I'm going to put a behemoth set on him. I'm not going to choose the dragon set because I want him to live. That's you know, he's a tank. Now he does damage, and sure, I could increase his power with this as his hit points get lower, but I'll be honest, it's so much better to have that shield because every 3 attacks you're popping a shield. I mean, and he gets life steal, he can heal himself through the shield. You want him to stay alive, and so if he can mitigate any damage, that's where you want to go. You know, that would be something I'd pick. Obviously, when you look at Dragon Prayers, and we scroll way down here because he's on the bottom. You know, his stuff is based around health, dodge levels, life steal, and heal effects. So obviously he's going to heal better. He's going to steal more. But, you know, it's going to take a long way to get there. He's a great tank. I've seen guys use him. But you really got to max him out for him to reach his full potential compared to some of the others. You know, then how good is my experience in boosting the captain skill? You know, each captain skill has different effects. I'm working on Chavez because I like the damage mitigation. Obviously, the next one's 945. After that, it's 1,000, 1,100, I think, something like that. You know, when I'm choosing, click the wrong button here. Blaine right now is doing 7,000 damage. Next one's 10,000 damage. I mean, that's a chunk of change. You know, you wanna use them, but you want to make sure you're putting them on people you're going to use. So if you're not using those heroes, obviously you're just kind of wasting you know, your resources on that. For the Hydra Beast Soul, it says, you know, the 20% reduced state in negative effects. Does that count as Crash's purple skill? You know, yes. Anything is a negative effect. So if you are slowed, it's negative 20%. If you are blinded, it's negative 20%. If you are silent, it's negative 20%. If you're stunned, it's negative 20%. Anything that negatively impacts you, it's negative 20%, which is why my marksman, for the longest, I ran this on her. Now, obviously, I've switched it out since then, just trying a few different options, but for the most part, that's kind of where it goes. I forgot who I put it on, but I mean, that's what you want. That's where you need it. How did I come up with the name Old Folks? That's probably one of the better stories. I used to go by the name Random Old Fart. I used to stream under a couple different names on when I played League of Legends, and when I also streamed for Minecraft with my kids. I would play Minecraft with my kids. I'd stream when I played a zombie game. I can't remember what it was now, but everybody knows me as the old guy because I play anywhere with kids. You know, obviously they were at 10 years old up to, you know, even a few guys my age. But when I played League of Legends, everybody's like, man, you're old, you know, and so I was just a random old fart, but some people didn't like that name, so I went with the Old Folks. It's just what I did. That's a lot of fun. You know, so that's the last of your questions. I want to talk about one last thing before I kind of finish off here. And a few people have asked me this about the whole Vortex, or, you know, should I get Lucifer if I'm going to get a hero 3 stars. And I've said it before, I'm going to say it again. The best 3-star legendary hero that you can really get is Vortex. The problem with tanks is the tank doesn't have the health to stand there in the front line and take the damage. Lucifer has bad positioning, so he absorbs a lot of damage. When you watch fights with Vortex, he's off to that side, kind of in the almost to the back, but not really there. So he helps to miss a lot of damage from his positioning. And so combined with the sheer damage that he does, the fact that his item allows for health regen with his blue 1 item, he's the best 3-star legendary. If you're only going to get one 3-star legendary, that's probably the one I'm going to get outside of an Ariel, who again is a pretty good 3-star legendary, but when usually we're talking, it's a DPS based one. Lucifer, there's a video out there on the Reddit forums. There's a guy that's already got 100,000 power Lucifer. I mean, the guy's insane. He's like level 93, fully ruined up. I mean, crazy how much gems were dropped on him, and I felt bad about what I put in mine. And so, he's doing insane damage. He's running 3-man teams versus 5-man teams, and he's still winning. And so, yes, he's great. In-game potential is phenomenal. But if I only get 3 stars out of a person, I'm going to go with the Vortex, because that stun is going to play so much more of a factor in so many stages, like Crystal Dungeon, like the Arena, like my Crusades, compared to just a straight-up DPS, but I don't got a lot of hit points. Because if you watch my videos, you see the one thing he suffers from is dying. So I hope this helps. If you guys got any questions or comments, again, feel free to leave them. Get your questions on this video in for next week, and I'll answer it again next Friday. I hope you all have a great one. Talk to you all later.